is Dave Jones. I'm a ghost voice enthusiast. I've been recording ghost voices for more than a decade. What are these voices and who is creating them? No one knows for certain, but they do exist and are intelligent on many occasions. I've captured over 15,000 ghost voices on over 400 paranormal investigations. I can literally go anywhere on the planet and capture ghost voices. Thus, it is my opinion that the world is haunted. There's nobody here, you know what I mean? What we just had happen is really happening. Hey, what's happening? This is Dave with Project Paranormal Investigations. It's been a blue moon since I uploaded any content to YouTube, and typically the content I upload is strictly just evidence videos, but I wanted to start doing something a little different, explaining some of this stuff, because I don't put myself in any of those videos. It's strictly audio that I've captured. So I am going to, actually first, if you dig this shirt, this is original artwork from Spectral Wolfpack Paranormal. My buddy Alex I just met, he's from Alabama. Him and his girlfriend go out and do a bunch of exploratory madness, just crazy stuff. I'll put their information on the screen if you're interested in checking them out. We're going to be doing some stuff here fairly soon. But I wanted to go ahead and make a video because people over the years have asked me tons of questions, and I've addressed them, and it's just not all of them now, and I feel bad. I want people to know kind of who's behind all these videos. There's like 100 videos, and it's a lot of audio and a lot of questions. People have a lot of questions about, everything from how do I capture it, or am I scared, or all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and answer those questions as best I can right now, and it's all based on my own personal experiences for the last 13 or so years. That I've been doing this. So let's get rocking. So the first question people have asked me is, why did you stop doing investigations? Well, I did not stop doing investigations. I stopped doing the what I call the novelty and exploratory, where I just grab a recorder and go run somewhere and just to record audio. I got away from that because I was haunting myself and the townhome that I lived in before me and my girlfriend moved into this house. So we haunted ourselves clean out of that place, just doing too much, not protecting myself, that kind of stuff. So I was dragging a lot of spirits around no matter where I went. So I had to quit doing that, and then I had to focus more on doing real investigations that help people. And by doing that, I've been working with mediums to do that. So we actually spend less time at a location, and we actually get real results. So we do help people. So I enjoy doing that a lot. Next question. Have you ever seen an apparition? Nope, not a full-on apparition. I have not. I've seen shadow things, God, I've seen stuff at Waverly, like when you look down the hallways at Waverly and you see that, I don't know, I call it like a dimensional, almost like a heat signature. It's like a heat wave. You're looking down the highway and you see the heat waves off the road. It's like that when you're at Waverly and you're looking down those big long corridors and you see that kind of, that I call a dimensional wave. And you see that, you kind of almost can picture people walking through, but I don't know if it's a pareidolia or whatever, but I have seen post town. We followed a little dude that was booking, and we could see him pretty well. But it was just really dark, and so I really, we really didn't know. We got no evidence. It was just personal experiences of shadow things moving about at so many different places, but could never really get 100% validation of a apparition, a full-on apparition. So that answer would be no. Next question. What do you think an EVP is? Well, an EVP is just a voice, and whether it's intelligent or not, it does matter. If it's an intelligent one, then that's far more intriguing. Well, no, I'd say it's probably equally as intriguing as residual.
Because what's awesome about residuals is if you're in a very historic place and you're getting residual conversation, you might be like, if you're at Gettysburg, you might be able to pick up a general. You might be able to pick up a person, a historical person that has long since passed. Like if you were at Abraham Lincoln's gravesite and you were talking and you got some responses. Ooh, I mean, how cool would that be? So that's as equally as cool as getting like an intelligent one, where you're just in a somebody's house and you're picking up a relative, or it could be anything. It could be like at Post Town, you get the kids running around there and they're saying your name and they're asking for help, or they might just be having fun or whatever. Um, those are great. Those are fun to that's kind of how I became addicted to it. So what is it exactly? I would have to say that when we die, that little bit of energy, that measurable electromagnetic energy that is still exists in this dimension, in this physical life, which is also subjected to physics in this world. Um, I think that stays around for a short period of time, and depending on the situation around that energy, um, it can speak, manipulating other sounds at the time. I think I feel like when they're speaking, we obviously we can't hear it. We got 20 to 20, what is it, 20 hertz to 20 megahertz, or 20K to 20, or 20 hertz to 20K range of hearing. And when they're speaking, there's almost nil amplitude on that signal. And what happens is, while other noises in the area you are in at the time are vibrating, because everything is a vibration, so that you get this little spirit energy that projects a word that is trying to make its way to your direction, or whether it's here or whatever. There's like other vibrations that help carry that signal so you can hear it, or you can actually record it on your voice recorders and pick it up that way. So that's kind of what I see as I'm recording audio. It's really, nobody really knows what they are, but that's probably my best description of what an EVP is, I would say. What is the trick to capturing EVPs? Well, there's no trick. There's no tricks for any of this stuff. There's no tricks. First of all, be yourself. Don't try to be super sleuth, hyper investigator, this or that. Don't blow it up. Just don't be so, just be yourself. Be kind, be good, have great intentions, be convicted, just go into these areas, or whenever you get ready to do an EVP session, think about it for a second. Just be at ease, be kind, just be yourself, be true blue. Ask questions, keep it simple. Keep it simple. I always go in and I'm like everybody's friend. I come in and go, hey, how's it going? How are you folks doing? Is everybody okay? My name's Dave. I try to keep it as simple as possible. That's the that if you want, I don't want to call it tricks, but that's the method I use to get spirits to talk to me. And really, I treat them just like anybody else, like a person, because they are people. As far as I'm assuming that they're people, and that works. That works real well. As far as capturing them, I just use old. I'll get into this more, but I use just old voice recorders, headphones, and the Ghost Box, the original Ghost Box. I don't really get into too much of the other equipment because what I use works for me. And then I use Audacity software to clip and remove noise from the clips that I get. But there's really no trick to capturing them. I think the biggest thing is to find somebody that can capture EVPs, work with them, see what they do, and then replicate that and then add your own flavor into it or add your own method. That's what happened to me. When I first started, shoot, I bet we were 4 years into it. I bet we're 4 years into investigating, and I had no EVPs. I couldn't catch an EVP with a net. I mean, I could not. I was so frustrated. I was like, why am I not hearing voices like, these other people? And then I met a guy named John Brown, and John showed me how he did it. And so I got a recorder that he had, the software he had. He showed me how to use it, and um, I started to capture EVPs, and then it just became an addiction. I just kept going, and so there's really no trick to it. Um, but once you tune in, be careful because it can get you in trouble. I know I talked to John Zaffis and Chris Fleming. I know I'm name dropping, but talked to John Zaffis and Chris Fleming about it. And both of them said, yeah, be super careful. You become a beacon when you start to communicate with spirits fairly well. So can get yourself in trouble like I did. I had to move because it couldn't clean that house, couldn't keep it clean. That place was the ultimate beacon. And many of my friends know, friend investigators know, we've been doing audio there for several years. So yeah, no tricks, just be yourself. Next question, have you ever recorded a demon? Well, no, because demons, as far as I see, this is my own personal thing, demons aren't human. I look at them as simply just dark energies that are ancient earth energies that have already been here, have always been here, and they move about, and they likes attract. So I imagine they are attracted to other dark energies, and that's what they're looking for. How do I see that? It's just like, I don't put human features to them. I don't do any of that stuff. And I know I've been on them where I've had spirits tell me that there's been monsters, demons, devils, stuff like that. And in one particular case in Middletown, the medium, Victor Peruta, my medium I work with, he found a demon in the basement. And it's just an ancient dark energy that was stuck in the basement. And he was able to move it along as it was trying to leave there. I have no proof that ever existed. I captured lots of audio in that basement. I captured those kids telling me there was a demon or a devil in the basement.
There's no devil in the basement. Yeah, brother. There's no devil down there. Yeah. No. How come it went quiet? Is he here with us right now? Yes. Yep. And there's.
And the funny thing was the thing that I care about most is the people that were going down into the basement were getting sick and were feeling ill, and just, that stuff you could feel. I mean, it's a basement too. You're going to feel cold. It's going to feel dank and creepy and that kind of stuff. So I don't put too much to that. So no, I've never recorded a demon, never seen one, and I really don't put much thought to it, to demons at all. I just never have, and I've never, in all my years, I haven't encountered one directly, to where I could say that I've, can prove that they exist. I don't say they don't, and I don't say they do. I think they're just dark energy that's out there, and occasionally we come across it. People are affected by it, do get sick by it, but I don't see it as this thing with the horns that, chasing people around with a pitchfork or any of that, old wives' tale type stuff. Nah, nope, never recorded a demon. How do you protect yourself? Oh, I don't have it with me because I'm at home. I do keep all my stuff in my bedroom anyway. But I have System 7 or Melody Stone, which is 7 types of protection crystals in one. It typically comes from Brazil. Actually, I use it because John Zaffis recommended it. He told me to get it after he heard my EVP DVD. He said, "Yeah, go ahead and get that. That'll, that black tourmaline. I keep that stuff around. Absorbs dark energy, keeps you." And again, I can't prove this, but just as to protect myself. So I do have the crystals. I do have the melody stone, the tourmaline. I do have some stuff upstairs. I do sage, do that stuff. I can't prove that any of that stuff 100% works, but right now, this in this house, it seems to be working. And with other people that I've known and situations that I've been in, all that stuff does work. Um, but I took some advice from Victor, who said before you go into a place and start channeling, because that's what we do when we do EVPs, when you start channeling with spirits and talking to them, say an intercessory prayer out in the grass. Try to ground yourself with the earth first. So I've done that. I say a prayer as I'm going in and a prayer when I come out. And if I'm on an investigation that's intense and I feel like, that I really need to clean, um, then I'll sage and do that sort of thing. And like I said, now I'm with mediums all the time on investigations. So I'll have mediums cleanse. We'll do prayers, that kind of stuff. So it's important. It's important to do that just in case, man, because you just don't know what's out there and what could happen. So that is how to protect yourself. Do you work with mediums? Absolutely. Now, I would not go anywhere without a medium. For the most part, um, I just wouldn't. The mediums that I've worked with, there's a small tight knit group of us that investigate together, and the mediums in there are fantastic. And what's really cool is before we get to a place, the mediums will have already done their remote views, uh, and they let us know. The legs, well, it's pretty much there's just a couple of us that go on and do audio and video. So they'll let us know if there's anything dangerous there. Give us a heads up, give us a warning about what could be there, what to look out for. So yeah, I would not investigate without a medium. So if you don't have a medium and you're on a team, get a medium. Get a medium, and if you're not sure of your medium, whether they're legit or not, well, let me know. Through Victor, we have a network of mediums across the world. There's a lot of really good, legitimate mediums out there. So if you have a medium that you're questioning, we can find out if this person's legit or not, or what their intentions are. But you should be able to see that up front. Maybe not though. I've worked with some that are just wow. They're just, or some that are so they're so they feel like they call themselves a medium or they call themselves a sensitive, but they really don't know what they're doing, which can be pretty dangerous. So, that's another thing you got to be careful with. So again, if you're having an issue with a medium or you can't find one, let me know and I'll help you out for sure. So yeah, always work with mediums, definitely. All right, next question. What is the most haunted place you've been? God, you guys, this is a great question because I've been to hundreds of places. Oof, I have. Uh, let's see, physically, the most amazing place I've ever been, the most amazingly haunted place I've ever been is in Kettering, Ohio, called Poland Farms. And it's an old farm, but it's also now it's a place where they have weddings and different parties and functions like that. And it's used by Kettering City. And the stuff that happened there, like every paranormal thing you could imagine happened. I was on my very first team I was invited to Poem Farms by Paravisions. We went. Um, I didn't know what to expect, but I thought, wow, we're going to be working with another team at this place. I didn't know what the history was. I knew nothing. But when we got there, so much shit happened. We had light fixtures falling from the ceiling, flashing. Lights on the back porch were flashing. We had doors slamming.
I didn't touch nothing. I know. Do it again.
Master bedroom, so many things were happening there. Orbs that you could see. We had cigar smoke coming out of the closet. It would just appear in like a big cloud. I mean, you couldn't see it, but you could smell it, and it was crazy. In that same bedroom, the master bedroom, we did have a medium that was there as well. But as we were standing in the closet trying to figure out what the smoke was, people were coming into the room and coughing. Pretty soon we were all coughing, and it was a cough that had, it had that little tickle in your throat. So we're sitting there, we're coughing, and the medium says, okay, that's Anna Poland. She wants everyone to know that she had tuberculosis, and that's how she conveyed that physically to all of us. I mean, that was pretty freaky when you think that that's how. I mean, it blows your mind. And in the master closet also was a cedar closet behind it. Had a locked door. All these doors were locked. The double doors in the closet, and in the back was the cedar door. The light came on, and we saw shadows moving in. So the city manager was there. He brought the keys up while we were standing there, opens the door, ain't nobody in there, and there ain't no way out. So we definitely saw shadows of somebody walking, and disembodied voices on the front stairs in the foyer. God, what all happened there? So much stuff. So much stuff slamming. Green vortex in the basement. And all this stuff happened, and it was going on for probably 2 hours or so. And as things quieted down, pretty much everybody left, except me and one other member from my team, because we were so stoked that all this activity was happening that we didn't want to leave. We did not want to leave this place. So here we are, sitting in there, and we're like, okay, let's make one more trip through the basement, and then we'll leave. She had an old high 8 camera and was walking around, and I had a flashlight with a red lens, just so it wouldn't disturb the infrared. And we're in the basement, and it's got like stone walls, and it was really weird configuration down there. But I was standing by a wall, holding the flashlight, and she was coming down the stairs. And as she was coming down the stairs, something pushed me in the small of my back, and it felt just like one of your buddies coming up and pushing you, like being a knucklehead. But it was real. It was physical. I felt it. And when I turned around with a flashlight, nobody was there. I ran through the basement. Nobody was there. And at that point, I said, well, that's Russell Poland telling them, earlier I got an EVP where he said, get out. And I figured, you know what, we surely outstayed our welcome with him. And we had gone back there several times and caught so much audio. We had events there. I mean, the place was just off the hook. So physically haunted. I mean, there was so many things happen. It was like everything but an apparition happened that night. And it was incredible. One of my, probably the best, the best physical activity we've ever seen. Also haunted. Sedamsville Rectory. You guys remember Ghost Adventures was there. I'm sure other teams were there too, but Ghost Adventures were there. And I don't know if Zach says he got possessed or whatever happened there. That was all evil and all this stuff. Well, yeah, they had dog fights and stuff in the basement, so there was actual blood spilled, but it was canine. And there were chickens and things like that also kept down there. So we think there were cockfights as well. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty normal. I like going there because, man, you turn a recorder on, these spirits talk nonstop.
With spirits, we know that it takes a vibration for us to be able to pick up your voice. I have this feeling there's a little boy at the end of the hall. I swear I saw your little head poke out.
What's your name? You need good?
And I think if you look at my Sedamsville Rectory video, I don't know if I showed that too much, but I'll make another video of that, because you could literally set a ghost box in a room and listen to conversations, and it's not radio interference. They're conversations. You hear people talking about it's a rectory, so you hear fathers talking, and they make references to they might have passages from the Bible, or they might be talking to a young person, or between it's the conversation you would hear at a rectory. I mean, it's just simple stuff. There's nothing evil there. Listen to the video. I caught tons of kids, man. It's really cool. It's very interesting. Lots of children. I don't want to ramble too much here. Probably, yeah, I would say the most audibly active is just continual chatter. The Gill House is the same way. Continual conversations. So historic. A lot of people been through there. A lot of things. So I don't know. I don't know if that audio's, the residuals being released from the environment itself. Like a big tape recorder, and you walk through and you actually capture the stuff, or if there's actually some sort of residual human energies that are there that just keep on yakking away. I'm not sure how that works. I don't think any of us are really sure how that works. Also, a fantastic place to go is the Mansfield. You go to Ohio State Reformatory, Mansfield Prison. Go there and experience that place. That place is phenomenal.
So what do you guys think's in there?
Oh, it's nothing. Pretty measure. Can we move the table?
So much energy, man. I can't even get it. I would ramble for days on that one. Mansfield's great. I highly recommend you take some contraband, beer, cigarettes, and some porn mags, and see what you get. That's something I want to do. I do want to go back there, though. I've been there once or twice, and I had just a great time. Killer place to go. That's up in Mansfield, Ohio. And I also want to make mention of Waverly. I won't go back to Waverly. Too traumatic.
The infamous Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
And it is a great opportunity for us tonight. Not only is it our crew's first time here, but we are going to try some techniques and gear that we have that no one has ever tried here before. This is where Elizabeth Beecher, Jane Ann Hurley are said to be haunted. Let's try here some of the new gear that we're going to use. This is a 250,000 volt Van de Graaff generator. It generates 250,000 volts. You constantly get shocks. It's just like when you were a kid, you went to the Science Museum, you put your hands on these and your hair stands up because of all static electricity. So what we're using this for is a power source for spirits to use to allow them to manifest. We're going to try this for a while here on the 4th floor and see if we can get one of the known spirits here to manifest.
So you need to come out here and play with all this stuff. Walk around. That's it. That's good. Look at it.
What we're going to do, we're going to try a different technique, or what we call a period reenactment. Obviously this was a hospital, and I'm Dr. Jones. We have a patient and we have a nurse. So what we're going to do is we're going to come through here acting like it's a normal day at the hospital.
and we're going to try and see if we can draw something out. Is this kind of... You guys notice this?
Why are they saying
Wait.
we interrupting them?
No, come here, listen.
Oh, right here. Whoa, don't you hear that? Yeah. I heard help.
Help! We need help!
Hang on, guys.
This is Dr. Jones. I'm looking for Dr. Kynes. We have a patient we need to tend to, staff, or he's not going to make it. What we did is we went down the hallway, then we came back to the operating room, and as soon as we got in here, not only could you tell there was a pressure change, but we're all of a sudden smelling like baby powder, sort of. Can you smell that?
It's like a surgical room.
There's so much spirit activity here that I literally can't focus on one spirit at a time because there's just so much going on. But I was trying to describe to people, it's like walking through a mall at Christmas time because they're walking past me, bumping into me. It's really, really amazing. All the spirit activity. I've never encountered any place like this before on investigations.
I mean, it's just no place to play around. That is no place to play around. You get into those old hospitals and stuff, man, cover your ass. Cover your ass. I really think these, I think the paranormal can really affect your health. And that is another reason why, you know, I'm 51 now, and I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want to get, you know, attachments and things that can drain my life's energy. I don't know, ghost vampires or whatever. But yeah, that's a real thing, and I don't even want to test it. You know, I just don't want to test it. But yeah, those are the most haunted places. Next question: what is your favorite haunted place? As I said before, my favorite haunted place was Poland Farms, without a doubt. All that physical activity, easily my favorite. My favorite was where I really got the big. It was the shock and awe for me. It was the first time I had really gotten a heavy dose of the paranormal on all facets. And after that happened so early on in my journey, paranormal journey, that's what really made me want to get into this, like even more. Trying to figure out what just happened. Why was I pushed? Whose voice was that? Why did these things fall from the ceiling? Why did that door slam? Why am I smelling cigar smoke when nobody's smoking? Why did the light come on in a locked closet and we see shadows walk by? I mean, there's so many questions, man. It was just like, whew. And I hope everyone has that experience, because that's the one that really makes you, that really gets you started on your journey. And that's all this whole paranormal stuff is. It's just a personal journey for each of us. And everyone should definitely have that journey. So, yeah, that's my favorite haunted place, Poland Farms, Kettering, Ohio. All right, so the most intense investigation ever. Man, there's two of them. In Hamilton, Ohio, we had a possession case. I do have some of that up, but what was crazy about that is we touched on the supernatural in that case. That case got turned over to the Archdiocese of Cincinnati because that was crazy as hell. And what had happened is folks that lived in this house lost their puppy. They heard the puppy crying. It somehow ended up under the house. Okay, they had to call the fire department. The fire department came in, and they cut a hole in the kitchen floor, and they went down and they retrieved the puppy. However, when they were coming out, they said, "Hey, man, there's like a well or a big giant hole down there that stinks of rotten, decaying something." And so they came back up and handed them their puppy and left. And ever since then, the family went through an extremely traumatic experience. I mean, it was like a horror movie. The things that happened and the things that we saw were supernatural. I mean, it was beyond just regular paranormal stuff. So we didn't really want to get into it too much, because the things that happened there were really super physical and terrifying, like really terrifying. So I did capture audio from there, but you know, and they had little kids. That was the killer for me was talking to the little kids when we were doing the interviews. And we were interviewing, you know, 5-year-old kids that had seen things, saw monkeys with red eyes in a closet. Um, they were trying to get him to come in the closet. The monkeys also grabbed Dad off the bed, picked him up, and slammed him into the dresser. And that really happened. I know it was according to the kid, but Mom said, yeah, Dad was hurt. He was really hurt and had to go to the doctor for that. And they had a little girl, and the thing that stuck out, she said that this door would arise in the middle of her floor in her bedroom, and a lady would be in there, and she would try to get her to come into the door, and she would refuse. And I said, good, you know, don't listen to her, you know. And I said, did the lady ever tell you what her name was? And she said, yeah, her name's Lilith. And I'm thinking, holy shit, how the fuck does this little girl know? How would she know who Lilith is? You know, and I'm just assuming that they're talking about the Lilith, you know, or it's a spirit. You know, it could be just a spirit being an asshole and pretending to be Lilith. And I don't know why they would do that to a little kid, you know, but they're asshole people, they're asshole spirits. They're really good people, they're really good spirits. I mean, that's kind of how I equate that all. So I didn't know, but with all the other stuff that we saw, some of the footage, some of the photos, yeah, we got off that case real quick. So that's pretty terrifying. That was very intense. But the other one, okay, over in Middletown, Ohio, is a place called Land of Illusion. It is a haunted screen park. It has 5 attractions in there, and one is an old farmhouse. And we verified the people that lived there. We talked to them, the Chrisman family, and we also verified that Dr. Carver was real, and it's which is insane.
You want to talk? Huh? You want to talk to us? Hey, how you doing?
It wasn't the coffin. Solid lighter. Look at that. It wasn't the coffin she was buried in. It was a coffin just to keep her in for now. She didn't like that either. Any victims of Dr. Carver?
Hey, is this what Dr. Carver did? Did he hang people in here? I'm sorry, what? Hi, Carol. How you doing, hon? Okay.
There's a huge story about it. You can go to Land of Illusion and read about it. Or you can look, I've got like 5 videos on that, and they're pretty long, but you can hear the audio in there. It's pretty crazy, but it validates some of the stuff. You can hear me talking to the Chrisman family, Carolyn Chrisman, David, and man, I can't think of the other dude's name, the guy that died in the basement. So the Chrisman family's there, and then there are also people that were murdered and kept in crates and in 55-gallon drums, and people who were on ice, and kids that were asking for help for Dr. Carver. And I mean, it's insane. But what makes it really insane, and you'll see in those videos, what makes it really insane is that you've got a haunted house, and so you're scaring people in there. And this happens for, you know, what is it, several months out of the year, a few months out of the year, right? What is it, September, October, probably 2 months. for 2 months, you're creating this manufactured fear that is fed into these locations that already have history of terrible things happening. So this manufactured fear is absorbed into the environment over and over and over, mixing with the current stuff. I mean, it's just got to draw in some really negative energy. When we went there, we had some really intense shit happen, anxiety-wise and stuff. So, and just with the audio and stuff, and the things that people have experienced there, and 1980, the FBI went out there and pulled human remains out from underneath the pig barn that was out there. So we think that Dr. Carver was killing people, and after he experimented on them, he did take them out to the pig barn, and eventually the pigs would eat them, and parts of the people would fall through the cracks of the floor, and that's what they found. There is documentation on the FBI going out there, 1980. So there's newspaper clippings and all that stuff. There was also a skirmish there, like a skirmish where I guess there were 1,000, I don't know if it was 1,000 people had died. I'll have to look that up, but there was a battle there. Some people died, but that was, way back. So there's a lot of reason for that place to be super intense, and it is. Trying to get a hold of the owner to get us in there I want to take an army of mediums in there and try to clean that place up spiritually so people don't get hurt, because that shit can affect your health. So we don't want people getting sick by going to one of these haunted attractions. So yeah, those are two extremely intense investigations. So on to the next question. What is my favorite TV show, paranormal TV show? I like the Dead Files. I've met Steve and Amy both on multiple occasions. I'm probably going to do some work with Amy on my new venture. So that's what we're hoping for, because it's going to be a really cool. I really can't say too much about it, but it could be really fantastic, and not for I don't care to be on a television show. I just want to work on a project where we're doing something real, and this could be really badass. So I do like the Dead Files. I love Amy as a medium. She's really good. She's fantastic. And Steve is he's a true detective. Really good dude. Good people. So I love that. And I also love my boys on the Ghost Brothers. And the reason why I do like them, they're just themselves, man. They're just themselves. They go out and they have fun investigating. And that's what, a lot of people, I like what they do. A lot of people have fun. But I met them, and they told me something that no other group would tell me. Not these Ghost Asylum guys, not these, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. Nobody wants to say anything. The secrets behind the show, kind of thing. So I'm gonna drop it for the Ghost Brothers, because they're really cool dudes. But they told me that they have evidence that would blow people away, that ends up on the editing floor, and that's where it lives. It'll never make it to TV, and we know that for sure. I'm also with the North American Dogman Project doing cryptid investigations, but we know that for sure, especially with Destination America, and it might as well be any of them. It doesn't matter. They don't want things to be too scary. They want it to be kind of fun, and because I think it was Dalen said that he said, man, if they took the evidence that was on the editing floor and put it into the shows, it would scare people, for sure scare people. So they're a little pissed about it, but they're still having fun. And yeah, there's some cool guys, some really good people. Yep. Props to Ghost Brothers. Here's a question that's interesting. Would you consider doing a TV show? Not unless it was 100% hours. 100% hours. It would be, what's kind of cool is for Zach Bagans, he owns his show. He owns all that. So he's the creative executive guy that can do what he wants. I'm sure the network has a final say on what gets put on TV, but it's kind of cool that he has creative control over his show. As far as I know, he does. So if we did a show, yeah, it would be legit, but it'd have to be 100% us. We couldn't have any any influence. No finding Bigfoots, no mountain monsters, none of that stuff. And speaking of mountain monsters, with North American Dogman Project, I work for Jody Cook, a renowned cryptid researcher, and he was presented with that show. Basically, he was going to do mountain monsters, but they wanted him to do bullshit like that. And he's a legit researcher. He said, "No, you can kiss my ass. I ain't doing that shit. What we're doing is real. And if you can't put the real stuff on," and those producers, were straight up. They said, "You're right. We can't put that stuff on. We can't scare people. We can't, try and prevent widespread panic. Okay, maybe what you guys are talking about exists, but we can't put that on TV." We're like, okay, go get you some mountain monsters. Go get, what is it, Duck Dynasty to play mountain monsters. Now, we've met those guys, and they're regular guys. They are kind of legit. They don't seem to be like manufactured like the Duck Dynasty guys are. None of those mountain monsters are CPAs or whatever, sitting behind desks or in cubes. No, they're from the woods. They are, and they're good dudes. They're good dudes. So good for them. It's a fun show for other people, but not for us. So no, most likely no. We wouldn't be considered. I wouldn't consider doing a show, because that just wouldn't happen. It'd have to be our self-produced kind of thing. Another question: what is in the future for Project Paranormal Investigations? Okay, so I'm going to do some investigations here and there and post. I've done a bunch of residential ones that I have not posted, just because they're residential and I want to keep it quiet. I do have I have like 5 other locations that I've done that I need to post. So I do have that stuff. And what else? But what I want to do right now, I'm doing the North American Dogman Project stuff. So what I'm doing is heavy audio and video. Heavy audio and video. Because we're trying to capture footage of cryptids. So it's very difficult. Audio, for me, audio is easy to do. It's easy to capture audio. But here's the thing. If you look at my channel and see my Bigfoot encounter video, you'll notice that at the time we had the Bigfoot encounter, we were doing a paranormal investigation. So I had the recorders running and was capturing EVPs. Spirits were telling me that Bigfoot was there when we had that encounter. So that inspired me to go to places where Bigfoot has been seen, talk to spirits to see if they're actually real, and the spirits have validated it, even at Salt Fork. So I find that really interesting. However, a lot of these Bigfoot sightings and stuff happen in areas that are very rural, and unless there was actually population or settlements there, you're not going to get any EVPs. That's another thing about capturing EVPs. You have to go places where people lived. You can't just, if you go out into a location where people never lived, there were no settlements or anything, chances are it's going to be super quiet. I've discovered that over the years. And the more the place was, when you go somewhere like New York City, if you were able to find a quiet place there to do sessions, I bet it would be off the chain everywhere, because so many people have lived there. There's so much energy there all the time. It gives me a headache thinking about it. So all those historic places, in places where there were settlements and there are cities, and those are the places to go to get to capture audio and stuff. But out in the rural areas, it's sometimes difficult unless you're at a cemetery. Salt Fork was never a settlement for Native Americans or pioneers. So I went to the cemetery, and in the cemetery I asked the spirits about Bigfoot, and they responded yes, Bigfoot's real. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm kind of doing that right now. Also, like I said, I want to do cold case. Like we have, any kind of murder cases or things that have happened and they can't find any leads. I want to go to the location of where they possibly had died or were murdered and help them talk to spirits, to see if I can get any information, names, that kind of thing. So that would be fun. I think that would be, put it to good use. Put it to good use for sure. And I have a final question here. It's advice for people that want to get started in the paranormal. So if you are a person and you're like by yourself and you go out and get you a $10 voice recorder, actually here's what you do. Go on to eBay, get an old Sony or Olympus voice recorder, an old one. Get the old ones. Grab those. Grab you a set of decent headphones. Mine are around here somewhere. Get a set of earmuff headphones. Put those on. Plug it in, and attach the headphone cable. Wrap it and hold it tightly. That's what you want to get. And then instead of by yourself, find a team that's established. Make sure they're a good team, that they're not out getting in trouble, trespassing, and all that stuff. Get with that team, ask them if you can join, and just, you see all the shows and stuff. It's kind of what goes on there. When you go into these places, you just be respectful. Run your audio. What I'll do is I'll put out a video of how I record audio, and I'll post that, and that'll help you out as well. All right, that pretty much sums up all those questions. I hope that, if anybody has any more questions, feel free to send me a message at any of the websites or email addresses below. Remember, if you're going to go out and investigate, man, protect yourself. You never know. Nobody really knows. There's no true science to what we're doing. It's kind of a personal journey. Make it your own personal journey, but be safe, man. Don't do anything stupid. Don't trespass. Just be safe, and learn as much as you can, and have fun. Alrighty. So cheers until the next video. We'll see you.